After a grueling 9 months of speed and horsepower, the 2018 NASCAR season has reached the checkered flag. In one descriptive sentence, this season was an unconventional up-and-down roller coaster. 1 minute, the racing product on the track is a total boring and predictable snooze fest, and then the next minute, you see the greatest finish possibly in decades, and your NASCAR spirit goes through the roof. With this caliber season, it certainly means there are tons of high points and low points to go over. Once again, I promise this will be more enjoyable than the NASCAR America Suit and Tie Special Edition hosted by Rutledge Wood. Let's get this show on the road. Starting off with the worst race of 2018, essentially any of the NASCAR on Fox races besides Daytona, Bristol, and Richmond would qualify for this award in terms of the racing product. With that said, however, there has been a tie for the #1 position this racing season. Both the spring and fall Talladega races take the cake. Besides the final laps of the 1000 Bulbs 500, both races had absolutely nothing worthy of a NASCAR Cup Series race. The events featured single-file train racing, useless strategy, and ignited the typical stereotype of rednecks driving in circles. Honestly, a non-plate event at both Talladega events would have been more entertaining to watch. At least we could have seen a quality pass under green with that package. Thank goodness the current plate package is going to get axed after Daytona. As for the best race of 2018, essentially any of the NASCAR on NBC races would qualify for this award, showing how lopsided the broadcasting season was. We had some highly entertaining, highly dramatic races such as the Kyle and Kyle show at Chicagoland, a flag-to-flag thrilling Bristol night race, and a showdown between Joey Logano and Martin Truex Jr. at Martinsville. While all of those are great nominees, the clear winner is the 2018 Bank of America Roval 400 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. This race featured everything right with the sport of NASCAR. Right turns, passes for the lead, tight points drama, huge playoff implications, and a thrilling finish where Ryan Blaney scored an upset victory. Definitely a race for the ages and hands down the best race of 2018. The biggest underachiever of 2018, the one driver that should have done more during this season, was hands down Ryan Blaney. Throughout the season, Blaney had strong outings at Bristol, Kansas, and Martinsville, to name a few. With that said, however, YRB's only win on the season came at the Charlotte Roval, mainly because the two drivers in front collided with each other. In addition, Ryan Blaney made an earlier than expected playoff exit after he was eliminated in the round of 12. Given the successes Blaney had last year, and considering Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski won 3 races each, I was expecting more from the 12 team. This was definitely an underachieving year, and had Blaney placed a 0 in the wins column, his only win would have came against Sasquatch. Oh wait, never mind.
Can't believe he beat you in a Pinewood Derby car.
The biggest overachiever award goes to the driver from Arizona, Alex Bowman. The previous 2 seasons for the 88 team have been absolutely mediocre, largely because of the decline and injuries of Dale Earnhardt Jr. So realistically, the only expectations for Alex Bowman was to be a step above the sport's most popular driver. 36 races later, Alex Bowman was able to impress as he netted 3 top 5s, 11 top 10s, an average finish of 17th, and advanced to the round of 12 in the playoffs. Certainly, the 88 team led by Greg Ives is taking a step in the right direction, and that first win should be on the way sooner than later. The biggest surprise of this season has easily been the driver of the number 10 Smithfield Ford Fusion, Eric Almirola. In just one season, Eric Almirola accomplished what Danica Patrick couldn't in 5 years: win a cup race. Sure, it was at a plate track, but Almirola put himself into position throughout the race and throughout the season, something Danica wasn't good at. In addition, he scored 4 top 5s, 17 top 10 finishes, 181 laps led, an average finish of 13th, and almost made it to the championship 4 in Miami, scoring a 5th place finish in the final point standings. With that said, however, people are still trying to find excuses, other ways to prop Danica up for her years of mediocrity. Before I get called a sexist in the comments, I have 3 words left to utter. Go Hailie Deegan. For the absolute biggest disappointment of 2018, there were quite a few candidates in the running. Both Jimmy Johnson and Denny Hamlin, who had both won a race in every single NASCAR season they entered, both went winless in 2018, in addition to being complete non-factors throughout the season and getting eliminated in the round of 16. With that said, however, Kyle Larson is the biggest disappointment of 2018. Entering the season, I had the 42 team winning 7 races, as well as the NASCAR Cup Series championship. Instead, Larson shoved all the preseason hype right into the garbage and squandered every single opportunity he had to win a race this season, getting bumped out of the way by Kyle Busch at Bristol, getting bumped out of the way again by Kyle Busch, this time at Chicagoland, leading 284 laps at Darlington before the pit crew messed up horribly, all but handing the win to Brad Keselowski, and hitting the wall and cutting a tire at Homestead. Sure, Ganassi is a mediocre race team, but Kyle Larson should have easily won at least 3 races this season. Next year is a pivotal year for Kyle Larson, because if he keeps going this route, he will end up having a similar fate to Casey Kane. Let's hope for a bounce-back campaign for the driver of the 42 instead. The biggest one-off moment of the 2018 NASCAR Cup Series season easily goes to Bubba Wallace and Richard Petty Motorsports. During the 2018 Daytona 500, Bubba was able to edge out Denny Hamlin to finish second in the Great American Race. With that finish, he was able to break history that Wendell Scott set back in 1966 and became the highest finishing African American driver in the Daytona 500. During the next 35 races, however, Bubba did next to nothing on the racetrack, netting 1 top 5, 3 top 10 finishes, an average finish of 25th, and a final points finish of 28th. Hopefully 2019 can see some more success for the driver of the 43, unlike this year, or maybe even better. He leaves Richard Petty Motorsports and joins another team. After all, RPM is just a handshake away from death. So the award for the worst team of 2018 has to go to Roush Fenway Racing, not because of the Cup Series program by any means. After all, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and the 6 team driven by both Matt Kenseth and Trevor Bayne, they weren't horrible behind the wheel, and they actually had decent seasons. The reason relies in the 60 team in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. You guys know the drill. In my lifetime of watching NASCAR races, I have never seen a race team tear up as much sheet metal as this Ford Mustang fielded by Jack Roush has. During the entire 2018 season, this team was involved in a collective total 28 spins and crashes the entire season. While some weren't collectively the team's fault, the entire move was a recipe for disaster when it was announced in Daytona. Just the idea of 3 young, inexperienced drivers splitting a ride is utter nonsense, and it ultimately costed them millions in repairs. Hopefully, Ty Majeski can get an entire season to develop in the 60 car, or they just axe the car completely.
Ryan Reed did not hold his line and got into the 60.
As for the best team, this award goes to Stewart-Haas Racing. During the 36-race schedule, the team was able to net 12 victories, 9 poles, 42 top 5s, 84 top 10 finishes, 3,305 laps led, and placed all 4 of its race teams into the round of 8. In addition, Kevin Harvick and Eric Almirola were able to notch career years, and Clint Bowyer had arguably his best Cup Series season since 2012. This team is in its 10th anniversary season, and they performed with the outdated Ford Fusion body, and it helped Ford claim its first manufacturer's championship since 2001. Certainly, this team is trending in the right direction, and I would expect the momentum to carry on with the Ford Mustang in 2019. The biggest triumph of the year relied in Chase Elliott winning his first career race at the Go Bowling 400. Entering the day 0 for 98 in his short NASCAR Cup Series career, the number 9 Sun Energy 1 Chevrolet Camaro was able to lead 52 laps on the day and hold off Big 3 member MTJ. As a result, myself and other NASCAR YouTube community members rejoiced. Finally, all was right in the world.
The driver of the 9, Chase Elliott. He gets his first.
That is, until this next award comes into play. Hands down, the biggest moron of the NASCAR season goes to, you guessed it, Brian France. The CEO of the sport was arrested the exact day after Chase Elliott's big victory in possession of oxycodone. After years of countless playoff changes and divisive rule changes, Brian France had done the impeccable, make the entire sport of NASCAR look like a bunch of drunk hillbillies breaking the law, much like the original bootlegger days of the sport. On a positive note, this could mean the end for Brian France in NASCAR, or even the France family within NASCAR, as they have considered selling the sport to a new owner. With that said, however, Brian France's legacy will likely stay in the sport for a few more years, with more record-low TV ratings and empty aluminum seats in the grandstands. Let's hope the smog clears up quickly. For this next segment, it is time to review the 5 best and worst paint schemes of the season. Starting out with the worst, the 5th place finisher is the largely generic number 48 Lowe's for Pros scheme for Jimmy Johnson. Had this car lacked the beautiful HMS yellow, this car would have looked completely underfunded. Certainly a disappointment for the last full-time Lowe's paint job. Number 4 goes to William Byron's number 24 Hertz Chevrolet Camaro that ran at the All-Star race. The white number absolutely kills the entire design, and the black feels misplaced on this car. Thank goodness the car was redesigned. While simpler, the new design looks good on the racetrack. Number 3 goes to Ryan Newman and his number 31 Liberty National paint job for the Charlotte 600. The green number kills the entire paint scheme, and it feels misplaced on a patriotic design. The second worst paint job of 2018 is Timmy Hill's Rewards Throwback, as this car mixes a paint scheme and a car with 2 completely different color schemes, making it a monstrosity on the racetrack. Finally, the worst design of 2018 goes to the other number 66 Rewards paint scheme for Timmy Hill, as this design to this car is absolutely cluttered, as the graphic designs team for MDM Motorsports needs to rework their magic for 2019. As for the best, the 5th place finisher is Eric Jones and his number 20 Craftsman Toyota Camry. Call me crazy, but I like the simplicity of the black and red design, and it looks fierce on the racetrack. Hopefully, Stanley Black & Decker decides to promote this Craftsman design more often in 2019. A beautiful paint scheme. 4th best relies in AJ Allmendinger's number 47 Kroger Clickless paint scheme. Unlike the 2019 design, this car uses the blue and red colors well, and it was certainly a gem seeing this car every single weekend in 2018. Number 3 is Chase Elliott's number 9 Mountain Dew Baja Blast Chevrolet Camaro. Despite crashing on lap 3, the beautiful teal finish makes this car an eye-catcher on the track, and hopefully I can track down this car in die-cast form before it disappears forever. Second best is the colorful number 12 PPG Paints Ford Fusion driven by Ryan Blaney. Everything about this design works, from the light blue to the green, pink, and orange designs, and it's absolutely fantastic. It was even greater watching this car from the Chicagoland Speedway grandstands, as it was even more beautiful in person. Finally, the best paint scheme for the 2018 season goes to William Byron and his number 24 Exalta Chevrolet Camaro. What more can I say? The flames are back and even more brilliant than the Jeff Gordon days. Hopefully this car can reach victory lane next year, as I would buy the race version in a heartbeat. The best quote of 2018 goes to the biggest troll job in NASCAR, as Kyle Busch once again worked his magic after the 2018 Overton's 400.
All those laps, and if it wasn't for lap traffic, it wouldn't even have been a race. I don't know what y'all are whining about, but if you don't like that kind of racing, don't even watch.
As for the worst quote of 2018, this one is a no-brainer.
May won the battle, but he ain't win the damn war.
Bumper of the 78 down to the outside. Here comes Logano trying to take the lead away. He drives past the 78. He'll take the lead as they go down the backstretch. To claim his first ever Cup Series championship, it's Joey Logano who wins.
Instead of whining about how you were cleanly bumped out of the way for the win, just simply move on to the next event. With that said, however, I would expect another quote to be in the running for the 2019 award, especially now that he is racing for Coach Joe.
I'm just not going to let him win it. I'm going to win it.
Now it's time for the driver awards. For the least valuable driver in NASCAR, I had to dive down into the Xfinity Series for this. For 2018, Brandon Jones wins the LVP award. While he made the playoffs, he highly underachieved driving the same equipment as Christopher Bell and was an easy elimination in the first round. He was also outperformed by Matt Tifft driving for his old team. For sure, given the circumstances around him, Brandon Jones largely struggled in 2018, and more on that will be featured in an upcoming video. Finally, the most valuable NASCAR Driver of the Year award hands down goes to the 2018 NASCAR Cup Series champion, Joey Logano. After missing the NASCAR playoffs completely in 2017, the 22 team was a model of consistency all year and was hands down the comeback story of the year. Joey Logano netted 3 wins, 13 top 5s, 26 top 10 finishes, 934 laps led, an average finish of 10.7 as well. In addition, the driver of the number 22 was able to come in clutch when it mattered, especially when the season was on the line. Joey Logano drove right through the Big Three, who combined to win 20 of the season's 36 races heading into Homestead to take the title. It included a final pass for the championship over rival MTJ to become the 2018 NASCAR Cup Series champion. With no doubt, Logano is a deserving champion in the series, no matter what the naysayers decide to say, and he is the most valuable NASCAR driver of the year.
We won the championship, Marty. Oh my God.
So once again, another NASCAR season has been written in the history books. The 2019 season should provide even more thrilling awards and drama, especially with the brand new rules package spicing up the competition. We will see you in February, NASCAR, as the biggest race of the year looms large. As to where that location is, I will let Teen Jeopardy answer that question for you guys, as here we go.
Sarah, again.
I'm at this international speedway, where the race often called the Super Bowl of NASCAR is held each February.
Rohan.
Where's Indianapolis?
Autumn.
Was the Indianapolis 500?
You did no research! You did no research!
There is truly no hope for society. So anyways, this is NASCAR Racing Fan 2015 signing out, and just remember, life's a beach and then you drive.